Hey guys, welcome back to Doc Loyal Talks Comics, and let's go over what I picked up for the week of December 31st. This is the 103rd episode of Doc's weekly comic pickups. Next week will be the 2-year anniversary of this channel. Thank each and every one of you for your support, for watching these videos, for giving purpose to this thing that I love and these books that we all enjoy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's go ahead and dig in with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week is Feral, issue number 19 by Tony Fleecs, Tris Forstner, and Tone Rodriguez. The main thing here is a conversation between Lord and Elsie, and this artwork is still very top-notch, very Don Bluth, very animated. It feels like something out of a Walt Disney or a Don Bluth animated movie. Fievel Goes West, The Secret of NIMH, even Titan A.E. It looks like something like that. So you get all these cats, and they're in Pet City, and they're trying to figure out who's the leader and who's in charge now that the mother has been killed, okay? And some of these cats were so brainwashed that they don't even want to go outside. They don't want to take the opportunity to try to learn what's out there for them. They say, you know what, I'm an inside cat. This is where I belong. I'm not going out there. It's too dangerous. Well, Lord and Elsie are talking here, and Lord says, Elsie, we don't have any idea what's out there. And Elsie says, but we have each other. And Lord says, I don't know if that's enough. And Elsie says, you just have to hit the switch and then shut it off and run fast so the door doesn't stay open behind us. And as they're leaving, then the new leader comes out of there named Lucky. And he says, you're not leaving because you have my babies in you. And she says, you idiot, I'm fixed. So the story is so human and it's so deep. And in the end, Lord looks at Elsie and says, I want to go. You're right. We need to get out of here. I want to leave. But I don't want to leave with you. How human, how deep does that cut? That somebody is trying to save you. Somebody's trying to do everything they can to provide a better future. And in the end, that person looks at the other one and says, I want to go. I want to see this future. I want to build something important. But I don't want to do it with you. How deep does that cut, folks? That is pure emotion. That is pure ego. That Lord says he wants to know what's outside, but he doesn't want to go and be with the person that wants to leave with him. Think about that, guys. That's not just a book about cats. That's about life. Some people are in your lives for a season. Some people are in your lives for all seasons. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to cut those people loose. Or they have to cut you loose in order for you to get a better understanding of what life is truly all about. Sometimes the pain is what brings you back to reality. This book is full of pain, but it's also full of life. It's full of energy. It's full of these cats that absolutely endear themselves to you, not as cats, but with human emotions, with strengths, with love, with hate, and with everything in between. So if you're not reading Feral, even though you got a lot to catch up on, pick up this issue. See if it hits you the same way emotionally that it hit me. I bet it does. Next up, we have Escape, issue number 5 from Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. And here we have the continuing story of Milton, but in this issue, the evil Nazi scum come to harass the boy and the father that are holding Milton away from them, holding him safe. And eventually they are secure that Milton's not there. But it's only after they drag the man's name through the mud, his wife's name through the mud, insinuate that she works with the enemy as a spy, as someone in the world of espionage, and that's why she left him. And in the end, Milton says, I have to leave. I can't endanger you and your boy anymore. That's not fair to you. And he says, and he tells Milton, you must go now. And he says, I am so sorry to put you at risk. Why? In your mind, when one bat commits a crime, all bats share the guilt. Yet here we are, despised by our own people and bombed by you for their crimes. And Milton says, you're caught in the middle. No right moves left to make. I get it, I do. But I'm on a mission to end this. The bat says, by bombing civilians? Milton says, no, by taking out the Titan cannon at the military base. So he sends Milton on with his backpack, with all of his supplies that he found when he first found Milton in the unenviable, damaged, hurt situation that he was in. Another really psychological book that in the end Milton has to have a plan, but is that plan going to be a suicide run or is it going to be something fruitful? So he has to decide what's important enough, whether dying for his cause, being away from his wife and his child are going to be enough to end this war. Because all he has to do is reach that Titan cannon. And once he reaches that cannon, if he can explode that cannon from the inside, then the war is over. But does he have the strength to do what's right? Next up is Flash Gordon, issue number 14 by Jeremy Adams, Eder Messias, with Tom Derenick on artwork. And we get the big penultimate build-up issue with a flash of both worlds. Lord Volton, Ming the Merciless. And the good Flash has recruited the evil Flash's army to take over and destroy the Ming of the good Flash's world. Confused yet? No, it's really simple. It's not as confusing as you would think, but it's really, really enjoyable because you get this awesome artwork from Eder Messias and Tom Derenick. And you also get to see how both Flashes think on their feet. The evil Flash finds a secret entrance, and then he ends up falling down this stairwell. And then the evil Flash is trying to destroy Lord Volton's ship. And one of his men, he says, Flash says, it doesn't matter. Get us to the other Flash's location now. We can't. Without a magnetic landing gear, we can't. And then he just proves just how evil he can be. And how far he's willing to go to end this other Flash. And this builds up. This war of two Flashes builds up for an epic battle between them in the next issue. And it's going to be blood, guts, destruction, all-out war. If you've got your pets, hide them because the evil Flash will probably come and snap their neck too. One of Mad Cave's best books. You can feel the love that Jeremy Adams has for this character. You can see through the artwork the excitement of Eder Messias and Tom Derenick to be on this character, to find a way to bring something that a lot of people have thought is not relevant back into the world of relevancy and bring it straight into the 21st century. It's amazing. It's an awesome book, and I hate that the current story arc ends with issue 15, and I don't know when or if this book by Jeremy Adams will be back, but I'm going to enjoy this issue, reread it again, and then I'm going to enjoy the heck out of issue 15 just like every other issue I've read. All right, the next to last book is The Lucky Devils, issue number 6. Here we have, I told myself I was going to remember who this is, and it's Rake and Collar. So you have Rake, who's the female, and Collar, who's the male, and they're still trying to sow goodness in hell, to upset everything, to destroy the natural order of hell. And eventually, Rake comes across the information that this other higher demon says, "You didn't hear it from me, but we've engaged the services of a truly savage devil hunter named Sandpiper Pinch." And apparently Sandpiper Pinch is Dick Tracy, Batman, and Lobo all boiled into one. It's a character. She's willing to do whatever she has to do in order to find out the information that she has to have in order to bring the offending devils in. And so Rake is trying to reach out to Collar to say, hey, we have a problem. Somebody's on to us, and this somebody is somebody who just absolutely will not stop. But now you're starting to see the turn from both of these demons to these devils, because Star goes to a luncheon with her new boyfriend, and at the luncheon, then her father says, "Let's say grace first. Solomon, would you be so kind as to lead us? I think that would be wonderful." And Solomon says, "I appreciate that very much, but I should say that I'm not a believer, and it's something I feel pretty strongly about. I'm happy to say a few words about my gratitude for the meal and for being included in this beautiful gathering." And Rake is trying to get her to isolate, to go away from everybody. And so she says, just F them. And that's wrath. That's one of those deadly sins. And so she says, what, because Solomon doesn't believe in God means he's not good enough to share a meal with you sanctimonious jerks? I'm so sick of this family. And so she goes outside and she says, you know, who do these people think they are judging you like that? And her boyfriend says, Star, I think you're the one doing the judging. And she says, what? And he says, I don't believe in God, but I do believe in clean breaks. No point in prolonging things. I know myself, and I know I can never be with someone who speaks to their family that way. A hug, and we part as friends. And she just stands still, and he says, all right then, be well. So Star is beginning to isolate and pull herself away from those that she loves and those that she cares for. Meanwhile, Cam is got 1 million followers on his podcast, and let's see, and Collar finds out after talking to Rake about the plan and about the fact that someone's coming for them. So Cam goes on here and he says the devil is real. And he's going to expose this whole thing. And his wife cuts the cord on it. She says, I cut the feed. And he says, what? People didn't hear what I said? Do you not realize how important this is? And so he says, call Star. So Rake even pulls Star away. And Star says, I'm sorry, Cam. I hope that you get the help that you need. And so Cam loses his mind and loses his stuff and ends up getting zapped for his trouble. This is heating up, and it's actually getting a little bit better. It was a slow burn, and I think it's got, I think it's 8 issues. So we've got 2 more issues to go, maybe 3 more issues to go. It's either 8 or 9 issues. But it's interesting. It's an interesting take on those lucky little devils. And the last issue that we're going to talk about today is the last issue of the Tin Can Society by Peter Warren. I think co-written and co-developed by Rick Remender. And then its artwork is Francesco Mobili. And we get the final stand between Johnny, who has returned, and this giant evil Iron Man. Because the woman who was controlling Sharon, close to Karen, Sharon says, the only thing that I want you to understand and what I hate about you is that you always thought so small. Do you want to see how far you could have taken your technology? And she goes into the radio and whispers Camelot. And then, like I said, then we have this giant Iron Man character. And in the end, Johnny takes an action, and I'm not going to go through what happens, but he takes an action that shows that in the end he's still the hero that everyone can aspire to be. In the end, he went out fighting for something that he believed. He went out and found his truth. And then once he found his truth, he was able to live and die for it. So, an amazing conclusion to this book. I can't wait for people to read it in trade. It took a little while for the book to come out, but now that I've got all 9 issues, I can go back and reread it in one fell swoop, and I bet it will be a lot more cohesive. But if you didn't read this, wait for the trade, wait for it to come out. It's an Image book, so I'm sure there'll be a trade coming forthwith. But in the meantime, go out there, enjoy reading your books. Let me know what books you picked up this week, and let me know which books you're looking forward to in the new year and which ones you're going to drop in the new year. But for right now, thank you for joining me for this 103rd episode of Doc Lail Talks Comics and Doc's weekly comic pickups. Thanks for taking. I'm tongue-tied tonight, guys. I'm tongue-tied. Thank you for taking this time to watch these videos day in, day out, nighttime, whatever time that you see these videos. Thank you for taking the time to watch these and give me some support in creating something that I love, and hopefully you do too. Anyway, guys, that's enough sappiness for tonight. Thank you very much for everything, and I hope to see you guys right here in the next video. Have a great day. Enjoy your books, and let me know what you're reading.